Maya is the Chief Operations Officer for Sounders FC and oversees the legal, people, and culture of the club, Rave Foundation, and social impact departments, and has been with the club since 2014. Maya is a board trustee member of the Wing Luke Museum, a board of directors member of the Seattle Parks Foundation, and trustee at Highline Schools Foundation. So right now, Maya is going to discuss social impact and World Cup. Thank you, Maya.
Thanks, Cameron. Thanks, and thanks. Hi, everybody who's still with us on the live stream. As a reminder, you'll see me for the next 20 minutes or so. If you do want to learn about March to the 50th, Long Acres or player development, those videos will be up later online, so you won't miss out on what's happening in the other breakout rooms by being here with us. But my job tonight is to talk a little bit about the two things that have consumed a lot of our time over the last couple of years. You heard a lot about World Cup already. And I think the most important thing for all of us at Sounders FC is as we look ahead to the next 4 years of growth, the opportunity that's in front of us, the chance to celebrate a 50th anniversary, the chance to open this facility and do all of the things that Garth talked about is all leading towards World Cup 2026. But equally important to that for all of us at Sounders FC is how we get there. We want to be a responsible and sustainable business. We, of course, want to put 60,000 fans in the stadium. We want to have really good business outcomes as a for-profit business, but we also want to get there the right way. And what we are doing here tonight is to sort of share year 2 of the progress that we've made, the impact that we've made specifically in applying the social justice framework that we started in 2020, and then also to share about how that connects to the legacy and the implications for the World Cup. Because unlike some other cities in the bid, not all of them, but unlike other cities in the process, the Sounders and soccer were at the heart of Seattle's bid. And the way in which soccer shows up in Seattle, the way in which you all show up as fans and experience match day as fans, was threaded through every aspect of the bid. And it allows us now to talk and shift as we've gotten the World Cup here in the city of Seattle to how we deliver on the legacy, how we deliver on our commitments to sustainability, how we deliver on our commitments to human rights here in the city of Seattle in 2026. To start, though, tonight, I want to talk a little bit about our social impact report for 2022, which is our second year of that reporting process. So hopefully you'll see as you read the report, it is live now. We'll publish it in concert with this event tonight. You'll see us talk a lot about humans and centering humans in how we measure our impact. Of course, there are numbers and there are quantitative metrics, but really for us, it's about impacting lives in deep and meaningful ways. The other thing with year 2 that we get a chance to do is compare ourselves to where we were in 2021, to look at the ways in which we had the opportunity to behave in consistent manner, and then also what are those things that we could add and expand on as we continue to push our social justice framework into the forefront of everything that we do at Sounders FC. So you heard a lot about the 26 by 26 campaign. Obviously, fan-funded field is a part of that process. That's something we were able to codify through 2022, and I'm happy to report we're halfway to 26. We opened our 13th mini pitch this year. We're halfway there on that 26 by 2026 campaign. We doubled down on our partnerships with museum partners, our cultural partners, and hopefully you are all very much aware of our partnership with the Intentionalists, with Laura Kleiss's organization, to put us in a position to exercise our spend and our capital like it matters, and to align our activities with small, minority, women-owned, and BIPOC-owned businesses throughout our region. This is the second year of the report. We said we were going to transparently report to all of you, and this is the second year and the opportunity to do that. And so the report that you see in front of you, or if you check online, because it's published there today, will also detail the ways in which we have expanded our work this year. One of those ways is the opportunity to celebrate specifically with the 50th anniversary of Title IX and the 50th anniversary of Washington State Youth Soccer, girls soccer, and Washington State Youth Soccer. Girls and women in soccer. We were also happy that this year, oh, you can go back a slide. We're still okay. We're still okay. This year, we were also able to start a 1.5-year partnership with the Center for Equity and Inclusion out of Portland. And they are really guiding a group of our staff, 100% of our leadership, including all of our head coaches, our ownership and all vice presidents and above in the company, and a team comprised of folks inside of our front office, an equity team, on a 1.5-year process to raise our consciousness about race and racism and implicit bias in our own culture and workplace, to undergo a cultural assessment internally for us at Sounders FC, and then to use that data and that consciousness raising to craft a DEI plan that's a long-term strategy and plan for us as an organization. That's a long-term commitment internally, and it's not something we've been very public about because we're in process on it. And it's important for us to do the work internally at Sounders FC while we continue to impact the community through our social justice framework externally. And so as we remind all of you, right, we have both our beliefs and our 4 arenas for change inside our social justice framework, but we also have these promises. These promises are really the strategy screen that guide the decisions that we make inside Sounders FC, guide our investments, and guide the way that we behave to encourage us to be consistent in our activities and our actions year over year. When you look at our social justice report this year, you actually will see us report on each one of these promises. It was really important for us to tie our impact to our behaviors as an organization externally in the community, and when you read the report, you'll see that reflected. But first, in the report, you'll see us tell 3 stories, because really the secret sauce of everything that we do is when we can show up in intersectional ways, when we're motivated and empowered and in the right place and the right time to work collectively on multiple arenas for change, where we can bring together and convene multiple of our partners and stakeholders and have deep and meaningful impact in multiple ways throughout the year. And the first of those, and you can go to the slide now, thanks very much, is the celebration of women and girls in sport and soccer. We were able to double down on our partnership there, not only with OL Reign, but with the Seattle Storm. OL Reign and Sounders FC opened Larchmont Elementary School, the first collaborative mini pitch between our 2 soccer organizations that was funded in large part by the doubleheader we hosted last year. We expect to announce what that next iteration of our partnership with OL Reign is as we move into this year, and as you heard Peter talk about the doubleheader opportunity that's in front of us again. OL Reign and Sounders FC also partnered with Athlete Ally and also with Trans Kids and WIAA to support the Transgender Kids Toolkit, right, which is a toolkit that we sponsored and funded last year. And this year we were able to host a number of athletes throughout the activities that we did collaboratively in the month of June around Pride, including raising the Progress Pride flag above Lumen Field. With Seattle Storm, we have secured their commitment to be our partner on 3 more collaborative mini pitches with basketball and soccer as the hook. And so we've opened one, we'll open the next one in early 2022. Again, their commitment to make sure that they're bringing the same accessible opportunities to play for girls specifically in basketball, and we can do that with soccer in the same spaces that we're building. We also were able this year, and this is the best part of the year for me, to make an impact on International Women's Day. February comes real fast in our calendar year. And this year we were able to go with all of our female employees from Sounders FC to White Center Heights Elementary School and support a female teacher on campus who has started an after-school girls soccer program to give girls the opportunity to play who would not have played but for having a safe space just for them, for girls to play. And so we were able to deliver an after-school program for them. We were able to provide full kits. They got full Sounders FC kits, soccer balls, and then we were able to continue to stay in contact with that teacher and that program to ensure those kids have been playing throughout the year. The coaches that helped us that day were a number of coaches from Cultures United. Cultures United is a BIPOC local community-led soccer organization. They started because there were not coaches and opportunities for kids to play in communities in Kent and Tukwila and Renton and South Seattle. And so a group of community members got together and created a place to play. They wanted to start a women's team for girls to play after high school. And they needed funding because fields cost money. Right? Uniforms cost money, league registration fees cost money. So I'm happy to say as part of this commitment, Sounders FC is committed to seed fund that Cultures United girls soccer team, women's soccer team, for the next 3 years. Those coaches are also employed by RAVE in the summer to coach our RAVE clinics. So they're getting education as support for their athletic endeavor to continue to play soccer, as well as sponsorship and mentorship around coaching the game that they love. That day was a really special day for me. The other day that was special, although I missed it, unfortunately, was the day that we got to celebrate Title IX at our Sounders FC match. When we turn our platform at Sounders FC over to support our social impact narratives, we do a lot of things that don't ever make it in front of the camera. And one of those was the opportunity to host a Girls and Women in Sports panel. And again, our employees at Sounders FC, our female employees, were front and center for this. 100 young student athletes, middle school to early high school age, including 50 from those rave target communities, came to our match day to have a career sports panel conversation with our front office staff. We were also able to partner with Legends of Washington Soccer. They were able to provide a history pop-up, a museum pop-up at our match day, and hopefully you saw it, Scarves Up, a number of women from the history of Washington youth soccer who were able to do scarves, including Gina Casella, who was actually the very first female coach for a professional soccer team, the Seattle Sounders, in 1994. And along with the first A-licensed coach, female A-licensed coach, and maybe for those of you that will go way back in MLS, Sandra Hunt, referee, who was one of 2 women head referees that coached their first, the first women referees to coach in MLS, or sorry, referee in MLS. They raised the Scarves Up. It's really important for us to connect the past, the present, and the future as we think about going into the 50th anniversary. Sorry. All right, women in sport. Personal pride for me. Next story. Also really important for us this year was the opportunity to invest at BARGE Lincoln Elementary School. BARGE Lincoln Elementary School is in Yakima. It is the first investment that we were able to make on the eastern side of the state. We've gotten to know Yakima Public Schools really, really well, and essentially the superintendent has told us we will be at every elementary school in Yakima before we're done. We intend to be at every elementary school in Yakima before we're done, and every elementary school that we can get our hands on in the state, on the eastern side of the state in particular. This one's a really special project because we actually were at BARGE Lincoln 5 times this year. 5 times we went across to that elementary school, and the first time we were there was shortly after we won the CCL title. We took the trophy over the mountains with us, and at recess, the kids were coming up, and I will remember this to the day that I die. One of the kids who came over to the trophy asked why Sounders FC was here. Because, and he said, no one ever comes to our school. And I said, well, we're here, and we're going to be back again in June, and we're going to be back again in the summer, and then we're going to be back again in September. And we're going to bring the trophy, and we're going to bring soccer balls, and Sounders FC is going to be here. And is that okay? And he said, yes, if you bring the trophy every time. And I was like, I'm not sure that's going to happen. But we were there in May, a week after we won the CCL trophy, with our friends at EarthGen, building an outdoor learning lab and rain garden. That rain garden now takes the runoff from our 2 futsal pitches. We've invested with EarthGen in sustainability education, so there's a green team now at BARGE Lincoln Elementary School that can see the connection between the activities of putting their hands in the ground to improve their school, to create an outdoor learning classroom connected to soccer, and that they're all connected to the wider world. We went back over there and celebrated the grand opening as part of the official Latinx Heritage Month activities in downtown Yakima. The entire community came out. We brought those kids across the mountains to a Sounders game, and hopefully if you were at that game in September, you saw the steel drum band playing out in front of everyone along with our sound wave. That's the steel drum group from BARGE Lincoln. Those student athletes, those kids in that school, those young artists now know that Sounders FC does come to Yakima, does come to BARGE Lincoln, and people do know where and care about where they are, where they live, where they work, where they play. That's investment number 1 in Eastern Washington. Like I said earlier, those 2 mini pitches got us to 13, so we are at the halfway point for 26 by 2026. And the last story sort of this intersectionality is just around Juneteenth. This is the area where we've been growing into our social justice framework the most over the last couple of years, leaning into what does it mean to be an organization that fights racism? What does that mean for us and how we show up? What are those things, what are those partnerships we curate? How can we help? How can soccer help
right, in this ecosystem, in this community. And one of our core partners has been NAM, the Northwest African American Museum. They have this amazing program that they curated with us called Books and Balls. And it's a really simple project, putting books written by Black authors, illustrated by Black illustrators, in the hands of kids. And what if we paired that book with a ball? And so 2 years ago, we started Books and Balls during COVID. We did it as part of mobile MLK Day sort of activities, and we've now expanded it. So annually with NAM, through activities and events, we're now distributing between 500 and 1,000 high-quality soccer balls with culturally representative books with this program. At Juneteenth this year with NAM, we also targeted our investments in New Holly, a community that we've been working with for a very long time, and broke ground on 2 mini pitches that'll be like Yesler Terrace in partnership with the Seattle Housing Authority at New Holly, which will open in next year. And hopefully all of you at our match days this year were able to sample all of the amazing food that we hosted in the North Plaza. 48 different small businesses in the North Plaza hosted food trucks that were curated by the Intentionalists, BIPOC minority, women-owned small businesses. And you can go to the next slide. You can go to the next slide too. Perfect. Okay, so if you read our social impact report, shameless plug right now, right? These are the components. We just talked about the stories. And like I said, the other big component this year, if you look at it, are gonna be the promise statement. So we can go into that. Next slide. This is what you'll see. I'm not gonna make anybody read it. But we've made 7 promises. This is the one about convening and collaborating with experts, raising and partnership experts. Through your efforts, through our efforts this year, through the Intentionalists, $208,000 of direct investment in small businesses through Sounders FC fans, Batch Day, and direct spend from the front office and the first team. We hosted 4 museum pop-ups. We hope to do more next year. And we also continue internally working and hosting social justice speaker series, convening experts to come educate our staff, collaborating with OL Reign and all of the sports teams to do so, to make sure that we are continuing to push our own education around bias to the forefront of our work. Next slide. We're also committed to attract, retain, and train a diverse and inclusive workforce. I mentioned the work we did with CEI. We've also partnered with Seattle U on the fellowship program in their sports MBA. We started a career pathways project with the Puyallup Tribe of Indians this year, which included hosting some initial students in the Sports Media Institute and also in broadcast internships, and we will expand those programs as we go forward. We've also partnered with MLS and made sure that our employees have access to the McKinstry program dedicated to elevate and accelerate the careers of Asian, Latino, and Black employees in MLS. Next slide. Okay. Poor transition, but Seattle 2026. What is this all getting us to? All of this work, all the way in which Seattle shows up to soccer, all the work that we're doing is threaded into this bid. We centered it on 3 big ideas. Soccer's the heart of everything we do. We do soccer really well. Innovation. This city is known, this region is known as the incubator of big ideas, right? How are the ways that we can help innovate as we look at 26? And then obviously, everyone. This is going to be the most inclusive place to come. You want to come to Seattle because all are welcome here, and this matches that we put on are going to be accessible to everyone. You can go next slide. Thank you, all of you, because this is an intergenerational process to get here. I know that we got the chance to say that we got this thing, but this is 4 generations of hard work to bring this event to the city of Seattle. And it's because of that, all of that collective work, that we can now call this dream a reality. Next slide. We're going a little faster now. We made 4 legacy commitments. 26 by 26 is one of them, right? That play is human and it's every child's right. We made that commitment to FIFA. We made a commitment to center all of our activities on the ground floor, because we know that's how our soccer fans already experience soccer games. And if we drive people to the ground floor and keep them on the ground floor while they are here, they will patronize our small businesses, they will explore our communities, they will stay out of cars, they will stay on the streets, and we can help raise the impact of their spend and of their time while they're here in the city of Seattle. We also committed to extend the realities of Lumen Field. Lumen Field converts 98% of waste. I hope you all knew that. We have a solar array that sits on top of the event center that actually produces enough energy to power Lumen Field in the summer months. How do we take the best practices from Lumen, from the Green Sport Alliance, from what we now know from our friends at Climate Pledge, and extend it out to all of the events that we operate? And how do we make this accessible? How do we ensure that when we have a fan fest at Pier 62, there's also an opportunity for someone in Spokane or in Yakima or in Yesler Terrace to experience a fan fest simultaneously with what's happening at Pier 62? We can do that. We can make this feeling, this excitement, this indelible moment a part of everyone's experience, regardless of whether you come from afar to come to the city of Seattle, or you're a local, or you live in a region of the state that's a little bit further afield. We want to make this accessible for you. Next slide. This is the downtown footprint. It should look similar to everything that we know about Sounders FC. All we've done is extended the March to the Match. That's all we've done. It now goes from Westlake Center. It exploits the new investments that the aquarium is going to make directly through Pike Place Market, drops you at Pier 62. That waterfront is going to be beautiful in the summer of 2026. And those east-west connectors into Pioneer Square, into Occidental, and the heart of what we do on match day is part of our bid and the way that we envision this tournament. And lastly here, as we round up, the most important pieces of this are the legacy that we want to leave behind. That picture is Adrian Hanauer, John Best soccer camp when he was 8 years old. So we asked ourselves once we got this thing, because this is the story that Adrian told to FIFA on Halloween a year ago about being an 8-year-old and falling in love with the game. We asked ourselves inside of the LOC as we set this up, what if we center every 8-year-old? What if we center the aspiration that as we make decisions, we make them in a way that ensures that every 8-year-old has a core memory, an indelible moment of reflection that connects them through this event in this moment in time. Doesn't mean they have to love soccer, doesn't mean they have to play soccer, but how do we do that? And if we can do that, if we can center that in our decision making about all the events and activities, that we know we're gonna sell out the stadium, we know it's going to be an economic success, but then if we center every 8-year-old, we know that the legacy of this event could have profound implications because we don't know where the next Adrian Hanauer is going to come from. And that's important to us, definitely, and truly, as we now look at FIFA and say, we got this thing, and here's how we're going to deliver it. Okay, I'm going to do one more thing. There's one more slide, because I think there's some big questions. First of all, I'm just going to deal grass. Yes, Lumen Field will be grass for 2026. FIFA has grass experts. They know everything there is, including testing grass in microclimates distinct San Francisco from Seattle. They will tell us what to put down, how to maintain it, what it needs to, the depth of everything, and that's what's going to be put into Lumen Field for 2026 because we'll have to meet their exacting standards, and I expect to touch, feel, bare feet on grass when I get to Qatar and know that it won't grow the same here and it won't matter, but we'll have grass. Tickets. We don't control ticketing at the local organizing committee level. FIFA will control ticketing as they do. Having said that, in August when they were here, we were very clear in advocating for two things. First, that our season ticket members inside of Sounders FC, specifically in Seattle, but in MLS generally, get the right of first refusal to buy tickets in our own venues. So we will continue to advocate for that. We don't control it, but that we will continue to advocate for you all to get a first right to purchase tickets at Lumen Field for the summer of 2026. And we will continue to advocate for accessible ticket prices. We absolutely believe what we know you all believe, and that is that the local population, folks in our own community, kids who otherwise wouldn't have access, cannot be priced out of this event for us to have the legacy implications that we so desire. And so we will continue to advocate for those two things. And lastly, for right now, if you want to get involved, C2026.com, you can fill out the little form, and we will keep you on a list to support the World Cup activities as it moves forward. And, you know, again, if you didn't know, The World Cup in Qatar kicks off very soon. These two will be there. Come with us, watch at the Armory. Go to, I guess, Peter's buying or matching every beer that you all drink at 7 a.m. for the final. 11 a.m. for most of the time. And join us at the Armory, Rave Foundation 26 by 2026. We'll have an auction there, an opportunity for you to get involved that day after Thanksgiving. The train will be running. It'll be a lot of fun. But thank you very much, because our impact, and you'll see in the report, is our collective impact. It's the power of soccer to do more, to convene, and I fundamentally believe, because those of you who do know me hear me say it all the time, soccer has the capacity to change the world. And we're committed to that here. We're committed to our legacy, and as excited as we are about the next 4 years of growth, we're also equally committed to getting there the right way. So thank you for being part of our family, and here's to 2023. Bring it on.